family.
Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. We're at the 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. This is where they ran the Champion Spark Plug 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race this past weekend. We have a lot for you in this half hour of Inside Winston Cup Racing, and here's what's coming up.
Well, the Champion Spark Plug 500 had a little bit of everything, including a 1 hour and 41-minute rain delay, but that didn't stop Darrell Waltrip from going on and picking up his second victory of 1991 as he passed Dale Earnhardt, the points leader in the closing laps. We'll have all the action from Pocono coming up.
The Busch Grand National drivers finally get to have their second race here at Hickory after an earlier rainout for the Granger Select 400. We'll have all the highlights just ahead.
Terry Labonte has returned to Hagan Racing with crew chief Steve Lloyd dialing in the cars. The team's start this season has been a little rocky, but Labonte and company expect big things during the season's second half. You'll hear their story.
Today's show is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Genuine Draft. Coal filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. And by Kodak Gold Film, the official film of NASCAR.
For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
All my friends, Miller Lowrider.
One car manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. Winning over 350 NASCAR races, over 4 decades of racing. That car manufacturer is Ford. And that kind of winning performance goes beyond the winner's circle.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
The ASA Circuit, the perfect proving ground. It's a fast and furious battle for the next superstars of stock car racing. And for the first time, TNN Motorsports is bringing the excitement and challenges of the American Speed Association to TV live from the Nashville Motor Speedway. It's the ASA AC Delco Challenge Series, Delco Voyager 250, live next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central, only on TNN Motorsports.
If you joined the IWCR Sports Club before June 1990, now's the time to renew your membership. And if you're not yet a member, then now's the time to join. When you join the club, you'll get the all-new exciting Best Stories of the Year video free, fantastic travel discounts, an automatic discount on all pit shop race merchandise, plus much more. To join or renew your membership, call 800-692-7777 or send check or money order for $22 plus $4 shipping and handling to Sports Club, Box 240417, Charlotte 28224.
There's a sad note in the news this week. Our friend Benny Parsons lost his wife Connie to a blood disorder. Certainly our condolences to he and all of his family. Well, Randy, there was a lot of news here at Pocono this past weekend concerning some crew members changing around as well as some records being broken.
Well, Ned, longtime crew chief Harry Hyde announced here at Pocono that Michigan would be his last race for Stavola Brothers Racing and driver Rick Wilson. He is resigning from that operation. Taking over for Harry Hyde over there will be chief engine builder Ken Wilson. Wilson, of course, was the engine builder for Michael Waltrip's team. He's resigned over there and came over to Stavola Brothers Racing. There's also been some other crew members that have left that team. Well, radial tires were being used here at Pocono for the first time ever, and let me tell you, they worked very well during qualifying as 17 drivers shattered the track record, with Mark Martin picking up his third Busch pole of the season. He leads that category in 1991. Now, another driver that had some problems during practice after qualifying was Dave Marcus. He got into an altercation with Rusty Wiles and crashed his Chevrolet, damaging the thing so badly that he had to go to a backup car for the start of this race and start at the tail end of the field.
Today's Winston Cup highlights are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Mark Martin and his Ford led the first few laps of the Champion Spark Plug 500 before Ken Schrader showed that he could be a force on Father's Day. But first, he and the rest of the dads had to dodge the first caution, which flew on lap 19, or didn't fly, as a chicken found his way onto the track. Fortunately, it failed to foul up anyone's day, including its own. When racing resumed, the Chevys of Irvin Schrader, Darrell Waltrip, and Dale Earnhardt showed the way. The next bird to leave the track was that of Bill Elliott's, as a blown power plant put him on the sidelines on lap 44. Sterling Marlin made his way from the 16th starting position to take the lead on lap 72 of the 200 scheduled. Alan Kowicki, still looking for his first win of the season, found out that too fast a pace down pit road would put you out of contention, as he received a one-lap penalty. Harry Gant got by Marlin on lap 106, and he and Ernie Irvin would take leads at the point until caution number 5 flew for debris on the track on lap 131. Pit strategy differed among the top teams. Jimmy Spencer got gas only, and from that, the lead. But before the race could go back to green, it started to rain.
They said the track's fine. Let's go. Come on.
But the race was red flagged, and the cars were brought to pit road, with Spencer looking at a possible banquet party in Victory Lane.
I don't know what's going to happen today. I know we aren't the fastest car. But you know, that Banquet Chevrolet has been running real good. And I ain't going to say. I pray the Lord it rains. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay. And it did rain, but not long enough for Jimmy. Spencer got dusted on the restart by Ricky Rudd. 5 laps later, the field got the caution when Mickey Gibbs, a lap down, got in the way of Sterling Marlin. Gibbs got the wall. Richard Petty, Dale Jarrett, and Ted Musgrave got lucky as they narrowly missed the wreck. After the final caution for Hut Strickland's blown engine, the familiar number 3 of Dale Earnhardt took the lead. But Darrell Waltrip closed the gap and shot by with 17 laps to go. Darrell drove away from Dale to capture his second victory of 1991.
The way we chased him down, I felt like I could get by him, but you never know for sure. Like you said, it's hard to pass people on this racetrack, particularly if they're running about like you are. But the longer we went there, the better my car got, and it seemed like he may have fallen off just a little bit. So it was a real thrill to get to slide on by him and win the race.
Of course, the NASCAR Winston Cup teams and drivers are in Michigan today. We'll have those highlights for you next week. We need to take a short break. Still to come are highlights of the Granger Select 400 Busch Grand National Race from Hickory, North Carolina. And we'll also have a story on the 94 team that Terry Labonte drives for. They're on their way up. And as we leave you for this break, here's the balance of the finishing order for the Champion Spark Plug 500.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer, pure beer, the best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, and why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
This is where it happened. The breakthrough in urethane chemistry that created a car polish so technologically advanced, one application lasts an entire year. Introducing Finish 2001, the car polish you use only once every 12 months. This old car's been badly neglected. Its finish appears destroyed. With no rubbing, no buffing, Finish 2001 with its urethane formula safely brings back the showroom shine, a rich, deep gloss shine that lasts an entire year. We tested Finish 2001 against other leading polishes, even some that claim to protect your car against fire or against acid. And the test results? Nothing, but nothing protects or shines better than Finish 2001, the 12-month car polish with a 100% money-back guarantee.
Finish 2001 is available at these fine stores.
The thing that I love about home is, well, first of all, there's no place like home. You know, I love the area. I love the back roads. I love the people. I'm friends. You know, that's where my roots are. I love everything about home. I miss home. I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss the whole area. You know, like I said, my roots run deep where I come from. The Nashville network has been very good to me. It's been wonderful for country music, and I'm very proud to be on it.
Laurie's my idea of what country's all about.
How's it feel now that you're the one it's happening to?
White has got his act together.
Save it for a rainy day.
No problem, Kelly. I'll bring the umbrella. Video PM. It's not just the music, it's who makes the music. Video PM, 5 p.m. Eastern on TNA.
Fly with Rusty Wallace to the Miller Genuine Draft 500. You'll meet Rusty at the team shop in Charlotte, then fly in his personal jet to Pocono and be the official starter of the Miller Genuine Draft 500. To enter, call 1-900-FUN on TNN. Each call is 95 cents per minute, or send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to this address. Enter as often as you wish. Entry deadline July 3rd. You must be 21 or older to enter. Grand prize winner will be announced on July 14th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
The Billy Hagan team has been around NASCAR Winston Cup Racing for quite a while. In fact, they won the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship back in 1984 with Terry Labonte as the driver. Then Labonte left a couple of years later to go drive for Junior Johnson. Sterling Marlin was brought in to drive for Hagan. And this year, Labonte is back there with that team. And they have a new crew chief, too. So it's a year that they're trying to put things back together.
Through the first 13 races of the 1991 season, Terry Labonte, crew chief Steve Lloyd, and the rest of the Sunoco racing team have had little to smile about. Accidents and mechanical failures have forced the team out of contention all too often. But even without the problems, running up front has been infrequent. Why? The fact is, in all reality, it's a first-year relationship between driver, crew chief, and chassis.
Well, it's a little bit of both. You know, we ran a lot of rear steer cars last year. We changed over to front steer. We ran some front steers last year, but not as many as we should have. Then we changed over to exclusively front steer cars this year. And the things that we did with Sterling, he's got a different style than Terry does. So it started off where we could have been maybe better had he had 4 or 5 races with us last year, something like that. But it's no different than any other team. You know, they do the same thing. We try different things, and the things that worked last year don't work this year. And he's got some real good ideas, better ideas, and it's starting to show in the last 4 or 5 races.
Terry almost took the pole at Sears Point. He wound up finishing a solid 6th during the event. At Pocono, he looked like he might have another strong finish until they dropped a cylinder. Through it all, both Terry and Steve have had to try to keep the team pumped up.
You know, anytime that a team is doing well, it's easy to keep things going good, keep everybody happy and motivated. But when things aren't going well, if you fall out of some races, if you have some tough luck, everybody gets down pretty fast. And you know, it's our job there to keep everybody pumped up and say, hey man, you know, this stuff happens and we can get them next week. But it gets tough sometimes.
Before the season started, the Sunoco team shared in a motivational seminar, and that has also helped them weather the storm.
It's the 3rd year that was done, and there's a different approach to it every year. some of the guys really enjoy it, and the guys that are new that haven't seen it before, they kind of don't know what to make out of it. But once they see it, they sit back and they say, this is real interesting, and it gives them something to think about.
As if the team doesn't have enough to think about, there is always one thing in the back of their minds: the sponsor.
What about the corporate sponsorship area? Have they been in contact at times because you haven't had the finishes that you probably would like to have enjoyed so far?
Oh, yeah. You know, starting off in Australia last year and going down there and winning the race and go to Daytona and test and run fast and then not do as well as we should have, you get a lot of pressure from the sponsor. You've got people that, you know, and you can't blame them. They send millions of dollars into this sport, and they want to know how could we be better, you know, anything they can do. And they come down and they have ideas on the business side, and we receive that and use some of those tools that they have to make the team a better team. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure from not only our sponsor but all the sponsors because of the money that's sent in. So you have a lot of people to please.
But keeping your driver happy is the main thing. And Terry believes that Steve and the team are now on the right track.
You know, Steve works awful hard and he does a good job at it. Steve hasn't really been a crew chief very long, and I think that, you know, he's going to improve as time goes on. And he's learned an awful lot about the front steer cars so far this year and making them work. I think finally we're really getting it figured out and getting the cars where they work pretty consistently now. So I think we're going in the right direction. It's just taking us a little while to get there.
When you go through the first half of the season, do you get any extra motivation when you say, well, we've gone to that track before, I know what we can do and what we can't do? Does it help to get you a little more pumped up going to the track the second time?
It's interesting you should say that, because Terry and I have talked about that several times. He said, you know, we could have run better today, but we'll run better the next time we come back, because you'll know what not to do. You know, it's always easy to second guess, and so Monday morning, this is what we should have done, but that's what you need to do. You need to learn from the things that you did wrong that wouldn't let you run as well as you thought you should. So yeah, the second time around, I think you'll see a definite improvement.
Well, certainly the experience they gained together in the first half of the season will be helpful to them in the second half of the season, so look out for Terry Labonte and the number 94 car in the last half of the season. We need to take a short break. Still to come are highlights of the Granger Select 400 Busch Grand National race from Hickory, North Carolina, and we'll have the mailbox. And here's this week's Kodak photo finish.
Brought to you by Kodacolored Gold 100 Film, the truest, most accurate color of any print film. Show your true colors on Kodacolored Gold Film, the official film of NASCAR.
On a cloudy pre-race morning at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, legendary drivers from NASCAR's yesteryear suited up for one more rumble behind the wheel. After 40 thrilling laps of short track battling, veterans Cale Yarborough and Elmo Langley sped their way to a showdown. Yarborough left a little too much room in turns 3 and 4, and Elmo snared the opportunity, winning Winston's Race of Legends by mere inches.
To demonstrate the superior color of new Kodak Gold 400 film, just open a box. It has the richest, most vivid color available in a high-speed film. New Kodak Gold 400. Fast film. True colors.
How hot can it get inside your car's engine? 570 degrees under extreme conditions. Take a leading motor oil. Take Mobil 1. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more. But under extreme conditions, when you see what can happen to conventional motor oil, it doesn't pay to play with fire. Mobil 1, isn't your car worth the extra protection?
Mobil 1 welcomes Rick Mears to the winner's circle. Congratulations on your Indy 500 win.
Fact, Ford offers performance that's supercharged and turbocharged. Fact, Ford offers 16, even 24 valve engines. Fact, Mustang GT, Pro GT, Thunderbird SC, Escort GT, and Taurus SHO make up the best-selling line of performance cars, American or import. Call it leadership. Call it winning. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? So where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Go easy when she calls. She knows how to please me.
His hometown is Sumter, South Carolina. Rob Crosby stars on stage Tuesday on TNN.
Next week, the Winston Cup Series returns to the sprawling Michigan International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt captured last year's Miller Genuine Draft 400 en route to his 4th Winston Cup title. You'll see who takes the checkers at this year's event.
And it's the Busch Series at the beach for the running of the Carolina Pride Budweiser 200. The Myrtle Beach Speedway always provides plenty of excitement, and we'll have all the door-to-door action.
Well, several weeks ago, you met Bobby Hamilton and Ted Musgrave, both Winston Cup Rookie of the Year candidates. But the Busch Grand National Series has a tough battle of its own going on. You'll meet a few of the top contenders next week.
The NASCAR Busch Grand National Series drivers were scheduled to have this past weekend off, but a rainout on May 18th of the Granger Select 400 at Hickory, North Carolina was run this past weekend. Chuck Bowen had won the pole, but just like in Winston Cup Racing, there's some major changes going on among personnel. Dan?
Well, Ned, the big story here was a major driver change. Elton Sawyer was relieved of his duties driving the 27 car. Ward Burton now gets that opportunity. Ward, this is definitely a big break for you.
Well, it really is, and I tell you, A.J. Dillard's got some super equipment, and he's got a good team, and I just got to buckle in there and turn it around.
Champion Chuck Bowen sat on the pole for the Granger Select 400, but his problem started on lap 1 with an apparent transmission problem. Butch Miller left the race on lap 15 when he hit the front stretch wall. At the same time, Jack Ingram, who's won 2 track championships at Hickory and is on his farewell tour, suffered a flat tire. He retired only 3 laps later. On the restart, Cecil Eunice got loose and spun in turn 1. Everyone got by and the race continued. In the meantime, Robert Presley was doing his best untouchable act as he led 157 circuits with Steve Grissom waiting in the shadows. On lap 41, Bobby Dotter and David Green tangled in turn 1. No serious damage, both drivers were able to continue. On lap 63, Troy Beebe spun in turn 4. When he pulled away, he hit the gas a little too hard, but got away safely. On lap 160, Robert Presley and Steve Grissom slowed to enter the pits when Ed Ferree spun directly behind them. This brought out the 8th of 11 cautions on the day. More importantly, though, it opened the door for Jimmy Hensley, who took the lead and shut the door behind him. Dave Rezendes had his problems all evening with an oil leak that eventually forced him to quit 132 laps into the race. On lap 217, rookie Jeff Green had an accident, and he too faced early retirement. Jimmy Hensley looked in the mirror and saw a pair of rookies beating down on him. David Green and Jeff Gordon were doing everything possible to pass the Virginia gentleman. With 17 laps remaining, David Green got a little anxious and spun out in turn 1. He continued and eventually finished 14th. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon got the green light, but couldn't catch Hensley, who got his second win of the season. Points leader Bobby Labonte finished 3rd with Ed Barrier 4th and Steve Grissom rounding out the top 5. The victory was special for Jimmy Hensley, who still searches for that all-important sponsor.
Anytime you win a Grand National race, you know, whether it's here or Martinsville or wherever, it's a big accomplishment. And, you know, we got a great team. We've struggled a little bit this year, you know, without sponsorship. But I think, you know, we keep rising back to the top. And that's a sign of a good team. And hopefully we can keep going and maybe get us some help here down the road.
Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Our question today comes from Sandy Kitrick of Kearney, New Jersey, who writes, how are the windshields attached to the frame of the Winston Cup cars? Are they safe? Also, are the windshields made of the same safety glass as in passenger cars, or are they made of some other substance? Well, Sandy, for that answer, we'll get Andy Petree, who is the crew chief on the Skoal Bandit that Harry Gant drives, to answer it.
That's a good question. The windshields in our Winston Cup cars are the same windshields that you can get in your street car that you buy. And it's attached to the car with aluminum clips on the sides, and we also have 2 long aluminum strips that go down and hold the windshield in case the cars get spun out. And thanks for writing in, Sandy.
If you have any race questions, you can write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240417, Charlotte 28224. Or you can now call us at 1-900-84-RACES. Charge is $1 per minute, average call 2 minutes. Fans 18 and under, get your parents' permission before calling. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket free. Fans 21 and under will receive an IWCR cap and t-shirt.
Well, our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and you be sure to be with us here next week for more Inside Winston Cup Racing.
Today's show has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Winning the world over with 1991 trucks that are built Ford tough. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. And by Kodak Gold Film, the official film of NASCAR. Inside Winston Cup clothing provided in part by Sports Image Incorporated, suppliers of quality racing apparel. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia, the official communications of NASCAR. Transportation for Inside Winston Cup Racing provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. And by your Carolina Ford dealers. Nobody outsells Ford in the Carolinas.
Today's hottest stars and shows are on TNN, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information. If you'd like to know about our programs or guest lineups, call TNN Viewer Services, 615-883-7000. For tickets, call Opryland Customer Service, 615-889-6611.
I guess I like things that go fast.
Experience life on the NASCAR circuit as you've never seen before. Call now and order Bill Elliott Racing to Victory and see what life is like for Bill Elliott in and out of Victory Lane. Meet the men responsible for the high technology and the marketing of the man known as $1 Million Bill.
It's $1 Million Bill from Dawsonville. Look out, the bird is on the loose again. He's got one thing on his mind, driving Coors number 9 down to Victory Lane at the end. Yes, this $1 Million Bill from Dawsonville. Look out, the bird is on the loose again. And he's got one thing on his mind, driving Coors number 9.
Order Bill Elliott Racing to Victory. Don't wait, call now.
To order, call now 1-800-524-4000. That's 1-800-524-4000.
Delco Voyager 250 live next Sunday on TNN Motorsports.